What's going on, guys? T2RX6 here, back for another 1/6 scale review, and today we're taking a look at the ThreeZero Commander Shepard. And I gotta say, when I saw that there was a Commander Shepard, I was like, okay, I will get one more 1/6 scale. It's not really my goal to collect a whole bunch of 1/6 scale, but I just absolutely adore Mass Effect so much that I would pick up 1/6 scale male and female Shepard, and maybe like Liara and you know, some of the cast from the original game. I think I would consider. But yeah, they only made Shepard and they made Legion, and I haven't been able to see too many, really clear reviews on this guy. So I just kind of wanted to do a quick review of this. So this is ThreeZero. Let's talk about accessories, I guess, first. He comes with two like punchy hands here. Obviously you have the left and right side because of the stripe in the armor. And then he's got two open hands here, left and right side. So I was pretty sure that this pistol was the Phalanx. So I went and looked it up here, and you can just see like this pistol really looks nothing like its in-game counterpart. Like, where's all the paint detail? Like, this is kind of like the equivalent that you would see if you were to get like a Hasbro G.I. Joe toy where it's just cast in one solid color. At least they gave it a dry brush to kind of make it look, scuffed up and stuff. But like, honestly, it's not impressive, and it certainly doesn't look like the Phalanx from the game with all that extra paint detail. And it kind of gets me. It's like you paid, these 1/6 scale figures aren't cheap. They're supposed to be like perfection, and then like you get this. Like, thanks for the one slightly green, paint where like a light is, but it's not even really like that in the game. Like, that's disappointing. So obviously he also comes with the Avenger rifle, which is what I have him carrying. Now, the Avenger rifle is not quite as badly done because you do have the silver here and then like the black here. So, and then the dry brush again, like it's been scuffed. So when you end up looking at the Avenger online, you can pretty well see it. None of that M8 detailing is on here, none of the red, none of these lights are kind of filled in, or the little one on the scope. And these vents, I mean, they're kind of suggested by the sculpt, but I wouldn't really say they're there. For most angles, they just end up looking like scuffs and not really the vents here like this. But the Avenger is at least better than the Phalanx. You also get the Omniblade accessory. It's just like a cast piece of translucent plastic, doesn't move or anything. Let's see, presumably, if we can get it past his hand. Well, let me go ahead and show you one of the flaws with this guy too. You have those swap out hands, but when you pull on the joints, you end up just pulling out the whole thing. So let's see if this is gonna work. I'm not gonna bother changing out the hand, but it should. I'm gonna tell you, like, this 1/6 scale. Mind you, I've only messed with this one and the Ghostbusters, but this one is decidedly less interesting to work with to me. So, this is probably not the right fist for it, but just to give you an idea, that's what the Omniblade would look like. I feel like this really should kind of be pinched in a little more, but because of the armor here and the way it sits, it doesn't. So, the Omniblade will be sitting in the box for me. So there's one other accessory here that is cleverly hidden on Shepard right now, and that's the rebreather here. And you can take this, and some of this stuff is hard to get off because it has like just like a little bit of a lock in there, but you can take that off so you can get the kind of Shepard showing through his mask. To be honest, I kind of like it with this better. I think the suit looks better that way, but you got Shepard under there. Sadly, the helmet doesn't come off, so yeah, you can't do that. The neck will pop off at the joint here. And ThreeZero has two versions of this guy. One that comes with the Shepard head underneath, which doesn't 100% end up looking like Shepard, and then the masked head. And you can see on there that it is glued on by ThreeZero, fairly sloppily too. It would have been nice if the helmet maybe broke into like 2 pieces and split, and then you had the head underneath. But it might end up making the helmet a little bit too bulbous. Usually when you put a helmet on a figure, it's just a little bit big. So the reason I bring up the helmetless head is because in like all their product shots, including on the box, they show Shepard's face without the helmet, and the only way you could get it was to buy the helmetless head from their website or something separate. I couldn't find anybody selling the helmetless head. I mean, obviously if you've got the whole thing, why would you just sell the helmetless head? So that's like a huge misstep for me. Like, as a 1/6 scale figure, again, they're not cheap, and why wouldn't you include the head? I wanted to point out too that there's a spot in the box for the head. That is a extra accessory to purchase from ThreeZero. That's not good. So anyway, let's take a look at Shepard here. One thing that stands out to me is that like the N7 symbol, like it's there, but it is really like roughly weathered, and I don't know if I necessarily love that. I do wish that it was like a bright N7, not all scuffed up. But I guess they're going for like a battle-worn suit, so in that aspect it's fine. The stripes and stuff all have some dry brush detail on there. These lights on the back here, they're just too dim. I really think they should be a brighter red, but they're there. The detailing on the suit though, let's pull back here, is excellent. I will say, if we're going with the glued head, I think they should have made this blacked out here, because I don't remember ever seeing Shepard's neck from behind. But, I mean, in this case, you can. So, they should have just painted this black from behind so you can't really see it. Suit detailing looks great. All the armor here is held on by some straps that I think are just like Velcro straps if you want to take your Shepard's stuff off. The feet have a ball joint down here, and I will say it's relatively weak ball joint. So right around the crotch here is like a synthetic type leather thing, and then coming down here, which I feel like it would be considered like carbon fiber, is obviously just like a weaved fabric. It doesn't hinder the motion at all, but on the other hand, when he's just standing there, it's very loose, which kind of, you know, it takes away from it a little bit for the most part. Like, you're not really seeing it there. Coming up to the abdomen area, you can see that fiber goes all the way up through the top. The shoulder pads here just kind of float loosely on, it looks like they're kind of like buttoned through the fabric on the top here, so they just kind of float loosely. I will say the upward motion of the arm is a little bit limited based on the material here, because you get so far on that joint and then it ends up just kind of pulling itself down because of the material. It does butterfly in and out though, which is nice, gives you a little extra. I believe it's a double jointed elbow, but it's hard to really tell because when the fabric gets bunched up, again, it starts pulling itself back. You already saw the wrist, it's on a swivel, and then there is a hinge on there to bring the wrist in and out. But again, because of the system they used, you'll end up pulling out the ball joint pretty much constantly. Neck, as you saw, is all the way down in the body, the joint there, so plenty of range of motion out of there. And see, this is the thing. Like, you got all of this like rubberized armor, I guess, right here in front of his face, and it should have gone all the way up the back, if I recall correct. Again, it's been a while since I played Mass Effect. Maybe the back of his head was exposed, but I really don't remember that. And then you can see that like leather suit piece kind of shows up again here. So with respect to these hands, I know I've said it twice now, but when you try to pull off the hands there to switch them out, you just can't. And you can pull on this and you can't. And the only way you actually can get it out is to go in there very carefully with a screwdriver and kind of give it a little bit of a prying out. And you can see they used a different like mushroom joint here to plug in there, and it just holds onto the wrist way too tight and the figure way too loose. yeah, that doesn't really work for me. So yeah, in the end, I'm glad that I have this Shepard. I'm a huge Mass Effect fan, and I think that makes this purchase worthwhile to me. I will say, in light of those Ghostbusters, there's some things that are a little underwhelming, and maybe in the 1/6 scale world, maybe my expectations are high. I mean, the Ghostbusters obviously don't have all this armor and stuff going on, so maybe that cuts from accessory budgets. I think in the end, I'm fine with the hands they gave us, but I really don't think that the unmasked Shepard head should have been an accessory. And I really wish that they found a way to incorporate the head underneath the mask in a way that you could remove the mask and maybe have him hold the mask in his hand. I just think it would be really cool for display options, and it's just not really an option as it currently is. That's what disappoints me most with this guy, is just that he's always, Shepard in the full costume. And in the end, it almost makes it feel like he's any old human being in the costume and not necessarily Shepard. I don't know. That's just me. I mean, the armor is generic, So, anyway, this is T2RX6. I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and I hope perhaps if you were looking to pick up ThreeZero Shepard, it gave you some insight on what to expect. Just remember that almost all the product shots show Shepard without the masked head, and you probably aren't going to get that. So this is T2RX6. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. See you next time.